Hey, kids! Do you like toys?
Yeah!
You know what's more fun than playing with toys?
Huh?
Setting them on fire! With your new Little Inferno Entertainment Fireplace!
Yeah! It's Little Inferno, it's Little Inferno just for me. I've got the fireplace that burns at 100 billion degrees. It's Little Inferno just for me.
Hello. Today we are talking about Little Inferno by Tomorrow Corporation. These are the same people who made World of Goo, apparently. So, I was working on my Persona 2 Innocent Sin review, and that's still coming along. But I got my newest bundle of Super Whale games in the mail. And, well, Little Inferno was in that. Now, I thought it was an interesting time that I could talk about this. I've never bought this game, but I've seen people talk about it way back when it first came out for PC. And the reason I thought it was interesting is because I had recently done Honeycam Studio, which was something I just randomly decided I wanted to try it out. I had some time to kill, and I wanted to try something. So, Honeycam Studio is in a style of several type of mobile games, and A Little Inferno's main objective was to kind of criticize those kind of games. So, this is on the Switch, because that's all Super Whale Games currently publishes, is Switch games. Now, for the physical version, it does come with a little booklet in that, so, I got a spoiler alert, though. I'm not going to recommend you buy the physical version, but we'll get into that. Digital-wise, again, it's on the Switch, but it's also on PC. You can get DRM free on Humble Bundle and GOG. It's on Steam, and it's also available on mobile platforms. Now, Little Inferno is... its main idea when it was created was to criticize the type of games that you don't get anything from. You didn't learn something. You didn't carry any kind of history. You didn't involve in creativity, puzzle solving, or that. Just a mindless game that doesn't really offer you anything. Not even like challenge or puzzle solving. And that was kind of the idea. They wanted to hide like a message within a game like that. And that's was the creative idea behind Little Inferno. At least that's how I hold it. So, how the game works is like a microtransaction-y type mobile game. So, you play as a little boy, you're in a house, and you have your newest toy, the Little Inferno. And you throw shit in it, and you burn it. Now, you have the in-game currency, and then the tickets that would represent the microtransaction currency. Now, obviously, this doesn't have microtransactions, because then that would be really scummy to not only criticize them, but to literally do it. But, that'd be going to, like, maybe a step too far. But, you order things through catalogs to burn. When you burn something, you get more money than it was valued, so you're always getting more money back than what you're spending on the stuff you burn. Now, there are stuff you buy that don't give you money back, your inventory slots and new catalogs, which is the only way you can get in a position where you have no money is to, let's say one of them's 450 and you have that exactly. That's the only way you can get into a position where you don't have any money, and you don't actually have to be that concerned about that, because you find bugs that appear in your chimney that'll give you a certain amount of currency based on how far you are in the game. It'll start off as like 1 or 2 coins. By the end game, you'll be getting like 20 coins from them. So you can't get yourself into an end state. There is no end state. Or they even specifically say how one character puts it, that there was no scores, no timer, no point, no void. You simply just sit down and you burn shit. Now, you do get to interact with 2 Gyarados, or mainly 1. The other one you just kind of get letters from as well, but the the other Gyarados will actually request stuff, so that's more of an interaction, I guess you could say. But the main gist is that you're trying to make combos with the items you bought. Like, the first one is a pirate bicycle. So, you buy the bike toy and the pirate toy, you burn them, and boom, you got the first combo. Now, combos are pretty much your progression through the game. They're necessary along with a certain amount of funds to buy the next catalog, and you'll progress through the game getting more and more items that will demand more and more combinations of items from past to future catalogs. Now, what you're seeing is 98% of the game. This is the majority of this game. Now, being that this is the Switch version, the PC version or touchscreen is probably the better way to play this. Obviously, for you to see the footage of this, I have to actually play this using the controller, which is an option. Now, here's what I find interesting. It's definitely not the preferred way. It functions, but it's wonky. So, I did not know the Switch, you could use the Joy-Cons like Wii remotes. Now, if you have a Switch or know anything about the Switch, it does not have a ball like the Wii and the Wii U do. So, you might be like, well, how does it work? Well, I'm not really quite sure how it actually works, but I can tell you, you don't use a ball. There's a button for centering. You point it where you want it, hit the button, and it centers it, and, well, you move within the confines of that area. Now, the problem with this is I find it kind of sinks out a little bit, and you slowly have to change how you're aiming it. Now, you can always readjust it at any time, so it's a annoyance. It's not completely unmanageable. It functions. It's just a bit annoying. Now, you can play with the touchscreen in handheld mode, which is likely the better way to actually play this game, and on mobile devices. And of course, with a mouse, you'd be able to easily drag and move stuff vastly easier than using the control. But it does work. It's just it kind of loses sync of where you originated the center point after a while. But you might ask, you said this was 98% of the game. So what's the rest of the game? The rest of the game, as I said in the beginning of this, was what they hid in the game. It is the quote-unquote point. So, this isn't a fun game. It's not a fun game. It's an interesting game in a narrative or meta kind of way because of the message. But I like games that do stuff like that, but I don't like them when the game isn't fun. Like, there's a lot of interesting games that make very fun gameplay with interesting narrative, messages, and out there meta-narrative. Little Inferno's gameplay isn't fun, and even though I like the interesting message that the game created for the last, what is essentially the last 2% of the game, I don't think it is enough to really encourage buying this game. So, before I go into spoilers about the end game, not that they're mind-bogglingly huge, I appreciate the message, but so this game digitally is $14.99, and if you want the physical version that I got from Super Whale, it's $31.22, I believe, in American dollars. They're a European country, so you know, conversion rates to your money scheme. I do not think it's worth either of those price tags. When you're doing something like, say, like when I reviewed Home. Home is a very short game that I don't think's mind-boggling or huge or anything, but it's very cheap, and for the price and what it offers you, I don't think it's a negative experience because it does offer you a bit of gameplay and replayability in trying to figure out what's going on in the story. Little Inferno is at minimum $15 without any kind of sale or anything digitally. And you're looking at about 3 hours average time to go through this game. 2 hours if you're like very efficient at doing all the combos and not wasting time just getting money to increase your inventory slots on the side or something. But averagely it's about 3 hours. It's $15. And the only real payout in this game is his message, which is the end of it. It's just... it feels way too much. Like, maybe for $5 I could be more reasonable on that, but $15 to have a not really a fun experience. Now, if you like mobile games, then you might get into this more, myself. But I'm not really into mobile games. Honeycomb Studio was fun because it actually offered a losing state. It challenged you to manage resources of money, fandom, and growth of skill of the honey goals. This doesn't have any challenge. Like I said earlier, there's no lose state, there's no score, timer, or anything. There is only one thing at the end, and is what they hid in the game. And I don't feel like that's worth $15. That's just my opinion, of course. Again, I think the message is interesting. We'll go over that in the spoilers here, so let us trend into spoiler territory. So, Little Inferno's spoilers are, in the end, you'll be hinted with one of the people you've been communicating through mail to burn the 4 items you gave them all together to escape your fate of burning the ship. By doing so, the chimney will overload and it burns your house down. But you're free to see the world outside your house, and you get to explore it a little. You'll run into the mailman who will tell you how many packages he delivered to your address. You'll meet a man who runs the gate to the company that made the Little Inferno, and you can go in, talk to the secretary, learn a few things of her life, and trick her to let you go upstairs. And there, you can meet the person who created the Little Inferno. And she'll give you a little speech about things, about what she did and things she didn't get to do. And then she'll ask you a question. She'll ask you a question that a lot of people like, and I like it too myself, don't get me wrong. What do you do when you have everything that you've ever wanted? To dream bigger. And with that, she'll leave, get in a rocket, and blast off to a bigger dream. While the character will be left to his own devices to leave, you can try exploring the town some more, but progressing right of the factory, you'll find a cliff, and you'll meet the weatherman, who is another person who sends you letters talking about the weather, and he'll offer to take you in the balloon to go and see the world, but tell you that you can't go back. And you go with the weather balloon man, and you go into the sky, and that's the end. It's just... Now, you might be like, what is the message this game's trying to send? Because I said I thought it was a good message. The message is, the gameplay here offers you nothing you can carry over to some. Puzzle games offer you better brain teasers to apply to life. You can learn historical or interesting story facts, narrative, musical techniques, better strategic values. You can actually learn real world things you can apply into the real world with games that simulate actions and things. There was literally nothing you can carry from this game. Like, at a bare minimum, you could argue it's a puzzle-y game to figure out the combos to progress the game. And that's a very bare minimum type argument. There's nothing of value to take from the Little Inferno game portion. And that the character who created it tells you that, you should go and live a life. You should go do other things, explore the world, meet people, dream big. And I can get that message, even though, I play a lot of video games. So some people actually took offense to the kind of message this game had. And I could understand, because you can interpret the message a few different ways. I've seen a few different ways, like, but how you born so many things like toys, TVs, family photos, things that the people who are sending you letters, the actual letter, the note you read, the stuff they will give you, you just born it all away. Born. So much wasteful things. Things that could do other things and entertain you, maybe even way better than the fucking firewood, but you just burn it all. You burn it all away, just like your money on a microtransaction game. No other way, like some people also interpreted the story as a tale of growth from a child to an adult. I mean, there's a few different perspectives, but I applaud on the message, or different interpretations of that message you can take from the game. But it's all hidden in a game that's not fun. It's not fun. You sit there watching these timers, because there's timers on the delivery shit and stuff. And the late game items can take several minutes to get to you. And if you wasted a lot of your tickets, you have to actually sit there and wait. It's just so annoying, because that's the game. That is the game. Now, ultimately, this is a tricky game to recommend to anyone, because I think it's overpriced, and it's, I played a lot of story-oriented games, but this is a weird one, because the story is very little and along with the gameplay. At least with some story games, you could argue that there's at least an interesting story. Ultimately, you will be, as the way I design my reviews, I try to give you my opinion on some stuff, and along with how the game is and that. But ultimately, you're the one, whether you agree or disagree with me, which obviously people have with different titles, you'll ultimately have to make the decision whether this game is interesting enough to you. Like I said, the idea of the way they wanted to do the story, the I guess you could say it really is just an art piece with a message in it. And the problem is you have to play through a not fun game to get to it, is the problem now. But ultimately, it will come down to you whether you want to get this. If you're interested in it, I would definitely recommend get it for a sale. I find it really hard to recommend this for more than $5. And if you want the physical version, like I said, you're paying $31.22 for that, if you want to get that. Really, the thing I liked the most was some of the music in the game, which oddly the Switch version actually gives you the option to listen to all the music, and it will actually go to each track all the way to the bottom, so you could technically, if you're on the go, you could listen to the soundtrack for this. But I liked it, some of the music had a weird art style in that, but I can't really recommend Little Inferno aside from those who want to see kind of a experimental idea. It just feel like it's really overpriced is the sad thing. Like I said, 5 and below, I could understand being more experimental, really short and stuff, but this just $15 feels way too much to me. But anyway, if you feel like you have any questions at all about the Little Inferno, feel free to leave a comment down below, or if you're on Twitch, feel free to message me. If you feel like you learned anything interesting about the Little Inferno, feel free to leave a like, and if you feel like you learned absolutely nothing, feel free to leave a dislike and burn it in your little inferno. And until next time, I'm just gonna burn the remains of this and move on into the sunlight to a better future because I can't turn back. Till next time, this is me with your weather report. It's snowing. It's snowing ashes of freedom.